So this morning we're cracking into a new cookbook, the recipes from the world of Tolkien. Can you feel the magic in the air? This cookbook is marketed at Lord of the Rings fans and anyone who loves good recipes and food. There's a lot of hype for this cookbook, so I'm looking to bring the heat today.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
First things first, look at this artwork. This cookbook has some incredible depictions of settings from the world of Middle-earth. The amount of detail and choice of beautiful colors really sets the tone for the quality of the book. But with that said, is the book more than just pretty pictures? The only way to find out is to dive in and create some of these fantasy-themed recipes ranging from breakfast to dinner while taking in the art as we go along. And here's the thing, the source material holds a special place in my heart, but I won't be biased. In fact, there is more of a chance I will be extra critical, but probably not. If there is one thing I do know is that we will have a good time, as we always do, so stick around to the end to see how everything turns out and whether or not you should fork over that sweet, sweet dough for this recipe book. In this channel, we love and appreciate film, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy had a huge impact on my childhood, and they're just some of the best movies of all time, especially fantasy movies. So I'm really excited to dive into this book, and to kick things off, we're going to be making oatmeal 6 different ways. To do so, we're going to start by prepping all of our ingredients, getting everything situated before we cook our oats, so that when we're done with all that, we'll have all of our ingredients ready to go. So let's get started on that.
Give the moment, for pity's sake!
No time like the present, so let's rock and roll, my hungry friends. Alright, so these are all the collective ingredients. We're gonna break them down, and hopefully by the end of this video, we will have figured out why they didn't just take the eagles to Mordor. Listen, before you destroy me in the comments, I know Sauron with his all-seeing eye would have seen them coming, and his army would have wiped them out before ever reaching Mount Doom. The question has been beaten to death, but you can't really blame me for using it in this transition in the video, right? No? Oh well, alright then. So yeah, let's get started on this quest. Let me just wash some apples and then get their fruity selves over here. The recipe calls for coring these apples, so I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way and just slice around the core. There's just something so satisfying about slicing up apples. The crunch as the knife connects is like music to my ears, but I am going to speed it all up because the last thing I want for any of you is to get bored, like Sean Connery did while reading the script for The Fellowship of the Ring. No, but seriously, if you didn't know, he turned down the role of Gandalf because he didn't understand the script. He completely fumbled the bag, but honestly, thank goodness, because I cannot imagine anyone else playing Gandalf other than Ian McKellen. In fact, I would die for Magneto. So you might be wondering, what on earth am I doing over here at the stovetop? Well, if you must know, I am going to be creating a cinnamon caramel glaze for the apples using sugar water and cinnamon. As the sugar breaks down, it will turn into caramel. Plus, as the apples break down, they will also release their own natural sugars. It's like I can't lose. Let's continue to stir the apples frequently so that nothing burns. It's a lot easier than I am making it look, I promise. So when a good bit of the liquid has been released, you should start adding the cinnamon. I prefer these bad boys to be absolutely coated, so that's what I'm trying to achieve. As our apples continue to reduce, we're gonna get started on our butter cream sauce. So you're gonna need a mixing bowl, a hand mixer, heavy whipping cream, some butter, some salt, and maybe a little bit of vanilla extract. If you don't have any sort of automated mixer, you might be able to use a spoon and just go really hard, but I would be lying if I said I don't know if they would be worth it. So this butter cream sauce is going to be really simple. Just some heavy whipping cream, some room temperature butter, salt, and sugar. Once all of the ingredients are locked and loaded, just keep mixing until the sauce is thick enough to coat a spoon. Not too difficult so far. Easy recipes make me feel better about myself. In fact, if you guys ever feel bad about yourselves, just know that a critic named Edmund Wilson in the 1950s called The Fellowship of the Ring juvenile trash. It appears that while we've been vibing out, our apples have become very soft and sweet as they are now coated in the caramel mixture. I just want you guys to take it all in. Take a look at that deliciousness. Alright, enough gawking, it's time to get back to business and back to actually cooking our oats. To take them to the next level, we're going to bring a mixture of milk, cinnamon, salt, and vanilla extract up to a simmer. All of these steps are pretty much to ensure that the oats don't turn out bland. There is nothing worse than flavorless oats. When our milky potion, if that's what you want to call it, is at the right temperature, we can unload our oaty goodness upon it. Give it a good stir so that we make sure that everything is coated. Alright, everything's done cooking. We're going to put the oatmeal in these bowls, put our toppings, and then we'll just try out each and every one. Alright, let's slop those oats into different bowls. I hope that doesn't sound too unappealing. The word slop is just kind of weird. This is where we're going to add all of our different ingredients to create unique oat dishes. can you feel that? It is getting electric in here. I could probably cut the tension with a knife. First bowl is to get loaded up with honey and almonds. And oh, what's this? Fresh raspberries and blueberries? Wow, get it out of here. Bowl 2 is the type you bring home to mother, sporting some of our buttercream sauce and jam. Bowl 3 also utilizes the cream, cause why not, and some dried fruit. Now bowl 4 is starting to get serious by introducing some of our sweet and savory apples. The final bowl takes things to new heights, and let's be real, this is the one that all of you will be making. It's a combination of pretty much all the best ingredients and topped with honey. Good lord, look at that. After taking in this beauty, I got busy taking in some bites, and it was pretty good.
Oatmeal is just such a comfort food.
The oats are done, so let's glide straight into the next part of the video. No time to waste.
One recipe down, you can't fully know how good a cookbook is unless you crank out like most of the recipes, but on to the second recipe.
The second recipe takes us straight to the dinner section of the recipe book. I was way more excited to give this one a shot as I'm a bigger fan of dinner than I am breakfast 99% of the time. But can we make such an intense dish?
There actually is a description here in the book. With its delicate licorice-like taste, Tarragon is the perfect flavor pairing for chicken. So if you didn't know what the perfect pairing for chicken is, now you do.
So as you guys might have seen, we are now making a Tarragon chicken, which is a very lemony cream sauce chicken with pasta. To create such a powerful dish, we need to make sure our prep game is on point. So I'm going to town on some onions, slicing and dicing in a ballerina-like fashion. Very graceful and precise. But the fun times don't stop there. We need to mince up some garlic because it just makes the world go around. We still have a good amount of blade work to exercise here. So let's bend our knees, show the zucchini what we are made of, do not hold back. Alright, maybe not to that extreme, but let's get this zucchini thinly sliced. Zucchini is just an elite vegetable. The prep work is nearly done, but let's get things cleaned up before the next step.
I don't take orders from maggots.
So let me just get this cleaned up by myself and we can whip out the tarragon like one does. To be honest, this is the first time messing around with this stuff, and I was digging what it had to offer right out of the gate. Pretty unique smell to it, and since we will be adding it to the sauce, I wanted to break it down even further to make it less noticeable in regard to texture. Also, I wanted to keep with the theme of keeping the cutting board sparkling clean. Early on, I said we would be making a very lemony cream sauce for the pasta, and I was not joking. As you can see, we need a lot of lemon zest, so with the help of a Dollar Tree quality cheese grater, we were off to the races. That seems about right. I'm also going to be tossing in a good amount of fresh lemon juice, so I can always just keep adjusting to get the right amount of lemon flavor. If you don't like lemon, then you can lean more towards the creamy garlic flavors of the dish. We are also going to be grating some cheese to add in, which should also provide a good bit of salty flavor. I mean, who doesn't love a good cheesy pasta sauce? With the momentum on our side, it's time to get some oil into a hot pan to crisp up some chicken breast fillets. I choose not to season them beforehand because I wasn't sure how salty the sauce is going to end up, with just the acidity from the lemon and the salty nature of the cheese later on. The sear on these pieces of chicken were turning out pretty well, so I decided to introduce all the prepped veggies to the chicken so they could get to know each other a little bit better. It was awkward at first, but with a little bit of coaxing, they became very good friends. As all the veggies started to heat up, release their liquids, and break down, we will continue stirring, and then when the moment is right, throw in a generous amount of creme fraiche, and then the rest of our prepped ingredients will enter the fray, or at least slowly enter the fray. Here comes all of our minced garlic, which we will let all of the fat carry the flavor around. At this point, it's already becoming what I would describe as a delicious dish, but we want this to end up something special, right? So that's where a good amount of the pine nuts come into play. With everything coming together, I can confidently say we are on the home stretch.
So it begins.
As I wipe the tears from my eyes, we sprint towards the end here, stirring and stirring some more. Now let's get that lemon zest in there, followed by our prepped tarragon. Not trying to repeat myself here, but we need to continue mixing it all together. It's looking gorgeous, and I love all the contrasting green in the sauce, and it's really starting to thicken up. To help it further along, I'm going to start tossing in some of our grated cheese now. Time is going to be our best friend here. Well, time and a decent amount of heat so that the sauce can reduce a little bit.
I wish everyone could experience how great my kitchen smells right now. It's a great combination of garlic and lemon, and it's just dominating the room. So the final step is to get some pasta cooking in some salty boiling water, and then take a step back to marvel at the creamy goodness that we have created as the pasta finishes up. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our second recipe is done. This is probably one of the best pasta meals I've ever had a chance to make. So full of unique flavor, buttery, herby, with just a powerful smack to the face of lemon, but in a good way. Every bite was a joy, and I definitely recommend you give it a shot. So the Middle-earth cookbook doesn't seem to be the most complex, but with amazing artwork, interesting depictions of lore that ties back to the recipes, and just creating amazing dishes from more traditional ingredients, this cookbook is one that I think anyone could enjoy. There's a lot of enjoyment to be had, and it might just be the perfect way to dive back into the world of Middle-earth. Thanks for feasting with me today, and please subscribe if you liked what you saw.